Every who down in Huluville liked the holidays a ton, but where to get great prices on gifts, they had no idea. None. They searched and they searched for great gifts under $25. Gifts for spouses and friends and even their toddlers. When suddenly one who shouted, Walmart has what you want, knowing they have Lego, Tree Hut, and no prices to flaunt. So they enjoy the holiday season as who's often do, cheering and shouting, Walmart has incredible gifts. Who knew? Find gifts they'll love under $25 at Walmart.
'Tis the season for all your holiday favorites, like A Very Jonas Christmas Movie and Home Alone on Disney+.
Should I burn down the tree? I don't think so.
Then Hulu has National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
We're all in for a very big Christmas treat.
All of these and more streaming this holiday season. And right now, save big with our special Black Friday offer. Bundle Disney Plus and Hulu for just $4.99 a month for 1 year. Savings compared to current regular monthly price. Ends 12/1. Offer for ad-supported Disney Plus Hulu bundle only. Then $12.99 a month or then current regular monthly price. 18 plus terms apply.
Hello, everyone, and thanks for tuning in to the Franchising 101 podcast brought to you by FranCoach. I am Tim Parmeter, founder and CEO of FranCoach and your podcast host. Today, we're going to talk about the topic of semi-absentee owners in the world of franchising. I'm going to tell you why it won't work and all the things that can go wrong with it, all the things you're going to think are going to make it great and really aren't, how you can actually be misled in the process with franchisors. But also how it could possibly work. So we're going to discuss all of that around semi-absentee owners. That's next.
What if your 9-to-5 job didn't last forever? What if there was a better way to create professional success your way without fear of layoffs or downsizing? What if I told you that it's all possible through franchise ownership? Franchise ownership gives you a proven playbook to execute so you can be in business for yourself, but not by yourself. But with thousands of franchises out there, how do you know which is the best one for you? That's where FranCoach comes in. FranCoach will help build out your ideal business model based on your talents, skills, and core values. Then use our proprietary knowledge of the franchises to bring curated options based on what you want, and then guide you through the vetting process until we find your best match. Individualized, personalized, and 100% free to you. Ready to control your future? Scan the QR code or visit francoach.net and let FranCoach help create your better tomorrow.
All right, we're back on the Franchising 101 podcast, and we are talking about semi-absentee ownership of a franchise. So first off, what the heck does semi-absentee mean? Well, if you ask 10 different franchisors, it's likely you're going to get 15 different answers. It is the most poorly defined term in franchising, but in short, it means to some version of you are a semi-absentee owner, which means you're not full-time. So your time in the business is part-time. The business, of course, is running full-time, right? So that's the thought, is you are doing something else. You have a job that you are keeping. Maybe you are an entrepreneur and you are looking to diversify and have multiple business ventures, okay? More times than not, it's somebody that's still keeping their job and they have their business, right? That's what it means. Now, all the different particulars of it is where you'll get such a wide range of answers when you talk to franchisors. So first, if we just go back to the basics of franchising, all franchises are designed for you to be a full-time owner. Okay, so just pause with that. They're all designed that way. You're going to be the owner. You're going to be in the business full-time. It's your business. Why wouldn't you be, right? But the semi-absentee concept has evolved over the years, and sometimes to a detriment of the industry. Sometimes it can still be a fantastic thing, but it is designed that you're a full-time owner. So if you are not full-time, you have to hire, I guess right off the bat, you have to hire somebody that is your kind of manager that is running the day to day. You can be part-time, businesses are not, all right? Now, most franchisors also, I'd say the majority of them don't allow owners to start semi-absentee. You can always transition to it down the road, but you've been running your business for a while. That's a much smoother thing than starting out this way, right? So semi-absentee, you must hire a manager that they are running the day-to-day, okay? So your role is part-time, but the business is not. Now, why do people look at this? Well, because it can feel less risky if you're working. Geez, I don't want to quit my job and my salary to jump into this business full time. What if it doesn't work? A couple of those things are for another time, but it can feel less risky because you keep your job. Now, I will tell you, when this happens, as semi-absentee owners, there's a much higher chance of failure or underperforming. Okay. At best, the business will probably ramp slower with you as semi-absentee versus if you were full-time. Now, the flip of that is, well, the business is growing. It's just growing slower because I've hired a manager, but I don't need the money from that yet. So I because I've got my salary. Okay. That's the potential thing, right? But why can this be such a bad idea for people? Yes, it feels less risky, but you've still invested money into a business, right? That your hope is to get some sort of return, maybe an exit from your current job, all of these things. So why won't it work? One of the things right off the bat is what's going to take priority? Your job or your business? Your life or your business? And then you got to think about the next thing is, who's going to be better at running your business? Would that be you running your business, or you're going to hire somebody to run your business? Okay. So these are things right off the bat that you really have to kind of consider with this. As a semi-absentee owner, you have to commit time during the week to oversee your business. And this is where you'll get some variance. Some franchisors might say as little as 10 hours a week. I've seen some say semi-absentee is 20 to 25. It's their brand. It's their rules. Okay. So, part of when you work with us, we know those behind the scenes things. So, but if you're going to come in and you're going to tell us, I don't know, I may have like 5 hours a week to dedicate towards business, I'm going to tell you to go buy some stock, because this is not for you. 10 hours, I think, is the absolute bare minimum, but that scares me to death because it's not enough time. So you really need to be thinking about, I would say, a minimum of 15 hours. If you can push towards 20, you're going to be better off. And that needs to be every day. Again, there's just no way it's going to be less than 10 hours. I mean, if it's a vending machine, something like that, that's a little bit different. For a real business that's out there interacting with customers and you've got staff, think a minimum of 15. Think about doing that every single day. If you cannot, will not, do not spend time every single day, your business will suffer. Okay. It may not completely fail, but it will underperform. And if you are a semi-absentee owner and you are not dedicating your time towards the business and it is underperforming, and you come back and complain to me about the franchisor, I'm going to point out you're the one that's screwing this up. The X factor in a franchise is always you as the owner. Okay. So there's three things that I think you need to think about base wise as a semi-absentee owner, if it could possibly work. And it can. You just have to be really careful with this. So first off, there's three abilities, right? You're like, what the heck is ability? It's availability, accessibility, flexibility. Okay. So availability, to begin with, 15 hours a week. And again, there's going to be some brands that can tell you to be a little bit less. I need to sleep at night, so I'm going to tell you at least 15. And it needs to be every day. Just like you're going to get up and brush your teeth every day, you need to get up, check on your business, check in with your manager. Eat lunch, check on your business, check on your manager, right? All of those things you need to be able to carve into your day. That's availability. Accessibility. So what do we mean by this?
Purina believes no one should have to make the impossible choice between their own safety and their pets. But nearly half of domestic abuse survivors delay leaving because they can't bring their pets with them. Through the Purple Leash Project, Purina is helping create more pet-friendly domestic violence shelters so survivors and their pets can escape and heal together. Visit Purina.com/purple to learn more.
Hello, I'm Diane Morgan. If you know who I am, you know who I am. If you don't, who cares? I'm here to explain Italian Time, a holiday phenomenon where Italians throw away their clocks and gather for eternity with San Pellegrino. I've been at this party so long that I've eaten 5 courses, hugged someone's grandma twice, and been offered a job in the family restaurant. So this holiday season, make sure to bring enough San Pellegrino to last you through the meal, the after meal, and the entire goodbye ritual. San Pellegrino, holiday on Italian time.
Your manager is running your business, but all of a sudden at 10 in the morning, they call you and they've got a question. Hopefully you've done a good job, and with the franchisor, you've trained them, you've empowered them to do what you need them to do. So if they need you, they're calling you, there's a reason they need you. How quickly can you respond to them, right? Is that and again, we're not always able to answer the phone no matter what's going on in our life, or professional or personal. But how quickly can you get back to them? Is that like, probably here, I'll get back to you in a couple of days, Bob, thanks for calling in? Or is it, hey, like I'm in a meeting right now, I've got a break here in 15 minutes, let me get right back to you, right? Or I got an hour, and I'm gonna tell you, if it's gonna be more than an hour, we've got a problem or something we really need to think through with this. Not impossible, but it's something to think through. And then the flexibility. At some point, your business, something's gonna go wrong, okay? Just understand that that's gonna happen. So when the you-know-what hits the fan, what's your flexibility like to be present wherever that problem is, right? Not something that's going to happen often. We're certainly hoping, if not there, if it is, then that's probably a time to just reassess what the heck's going on and who we've got where with this. But you may have to jump in once in a while, right? We may need an extra hand. We may need to fill in. We may need all sorts of things that you've got to have some flexibility to be able to do that. Okay. So availability, 15 hours plus, the accessibility when that manager reaches out to you, get back to them quickly, and the flexibility to jump in at some point. If you don't have those three things, just turn this podcast off, go to the next one, right? And because this is semi-absentee ownership is not for you. Okay. So what are some things to watch out for also in addition to this is, I think you've got to be pretty self-aware with these things. If you're not disciplined, you have no history of being disciplined, this probably isn't for you. And things like, do you work out at the same time every day, right? I'm not a morning workout person. I admire the people that can get up at 5 o'clock and do that every single day. But maybe you're doing it at noon, or you're doing it here. Do you have that regiment, that routine, the habits that even when you're not feeling good, you're still getting those things accomplished? If that's not you, I'm telling you, semi-absentee ownership is not for you, because you're going to ignore it when things get hard, and things are going to get hard. So you've got to be that highly disciplined individual, right? If you have limited flexibility and accessibility in your life, whether that's personal or professional, this is not for you. Don't do it. If you have the lack of desire or ability to add 15 to 20 hours of work in your week, this is not for you. And you got to be honest, that's a lot of time. We had a client a couple years ago. I literally told them to kind of track their week, right? And if it was just literally every day, where are you going to get 3 hours, right? And we honestly started with 2, right? Like, where do you have 2 hours that you can dedicate towards your business? And the end result was they realized they didn't have it. So that was perfect. We stayed away from something that would have been a mistake. So you really have to start seeing where. So one, are you disciplined enough to do it? Do you have the flexibility and the accessibility to do it? Then, like, do you wanna, right? Have this. And then the other thing to be really careful for and watch out for is sometimes with franchisors, or usually the franchise sales organizations that are peddling some of these brands, they're going to paint a picture that ain't real accurate, right? If semi-absentee ownership sounds super easy, right? Oh my gosh, I don't know, maybe a couple hours, here and there, you jump in, we've got everything set up for you. We're going to do this, 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 and this. You're going to have a great manager. It's going to be awesome. That's a bunch of crap. You need to run the other direction, and we'll come back to us, because that just isn't going to happen. But you got to be careful. If it sounds too good to be true as a semi-absentee owner, I promise you, they're lying to you and they're trying to sell you something. Okay. So be very, very, very careful. And just in franchising, if you're talking to a brand and the people you're talking to don't work directly for the brand, be careful. There's some great organizations out there that are outsourced, but There's some of the worst things in the industry are like that. So be very careful. So those are the things to watch out for. So how can this work, right? That's a whole bunch of negatives. And right off the bat, I'm telling you, semi-absentee ownership, right? Like, whew, I don't know, man. It can work, right? But you got to think about a couple things. And again, you have to have kind of that awareness of what you're actually good at, what you can do. So I look at, again, that strong discipline, that daily commitment, right? Things get a little bit tough, but you're still getting up and you're doing this, right? People that have some sort of history juggling more than one thing, whether it's, hey, I've always kind of had a side gig, or I'm doing all these other things with my family. I've got these hobbies, whatever. People that have maybe, worked a job and gone to school to get a degree. Again, that's a great history of the discipline to manage multiple things. Here's my main thing, but here's the thing that's really important to me that I'm always going to make time for. Okay. If you don't have that, semi-absentee ownership is absolutely not for you. Please don't do it. Okay. The kind of more task related things is, do you have a history of managing a manager? Not that you have to have that, but it makes that a little bit easier because there's a certain level of kind of trusting that manager. We're still verifying. We're not leaving them out on an island, right? And so you've got to have that kind of strong leadership ability from that. I think there's some merit when you're hiring that manager to give them some sort of pathway towards maybe sweat equity, right? Think about this. This is an employee. This isn't just any employee, right? This isn't like little Timmy in the back flipping the burger. This is the person running the joint, right? So they're working hard, and you want them to work really hard for you to run your business, okay? And they're working really hard to run your business that actually wasn't important enough to you to actually do full time, okay? So maybe some sort of pathway, some recognition, some bonuses, whatever, some incentive-based compensation in there for that manager is going to be key. Otherwise, they're going to just be watching the clock until their 40 hours is up, okay? If there's a friend or family member that can get in there and run it, that can be helpful. Admittedly, that also is a whole nother set of challenges because now that key person is we have a prior relationship with, so in theory could be good, but sometimes family stuff can be a drama as well, right? So those things to think about. If you have those, then hey, this really might be a possibility. Okay, a couple of times where it's not much of an issue. Also, is we talk a lot about on this episode. You have a job and you're looking at this. Okay, where are really good semi-absentee owners? They're already owners, right? So now they are expanding, multi-unit, multi-brand. That's I don't want to say that's easy, but that always gives me a lot of confidence because they're already running something, right? And again, as you scale in franchising, there's only so much like you can be on the ground with everything. You've got to be able to elevate and kind of build that layer of management in. Okay, so the other thing that comes up a lot with our team as we're talking to people about semi-absentee is we're going to start building out what their owner role looks like. And they're going to say, yeah, hey, I really want semi-absentee. Okay, great. Why, right? What's the reason why? And it's usually one of two things. It's going to be either, hey, I actually like my job and I want to look at this as diversifying my revenue streams, kind of expanding from that standpoint, maybe eventually giving me an exit strategy out of my job. I definitely want to keep it. I definitely want it for those reasons. Awesome. That is a semi-absentee potential pathway. But a lot of times what we're going to hear is that just feels safer. I want to keep my job. Oh my gosh, I couldn't possibly walk away from this salary. Yikes. But what they really want is to walk away from the job and jump into the business full time. So more times than not, people that start thinking about semi-absentee, it's really based on fear. And so you're going to, because you start kind of doing the math as you go through this, you're going to be paying a manager, I don't know, 60, 70 grand maybe to run your business. Meanwhile, you're going to keep your salary at your job that you don't really like and don't want to be there. Okay. So now your managers gets to have fun running your business. Meanwhile, you're stuck in traffic driving to your crappy job. Okay. But, oh my gosh, well, I'm making six figures. I'm making $150,000. I couldn't possibly leave that. And this is a whole nother podcast, but replacing salary is not apples to apples. So if I'm hiring a manager for 70 grand and I'm over here making, I don't know, $125,000, I can't possibly leave that. You're going to quickly find as we go through this exercise, yes, you can, because that 125 isn't remotely what you take home, right? And then you're going to be paying for things that the business actually can pay for, right? And so what somebody's salary is, about half of that is what you really need to kind of be even on a wash from a replacement standpoint. So then when people kind of do the realization, and even if it's backwards a little bit, it's not totally backwards, because you really could compensate yourself like you would a manager. Now, which would you rather do? Keep your salary that at a job you don't really like, watch somebody else have fun running your business and hope that they are good, or you can leave your job that you don't really like all that much anyway. You can pay yourself what you were going to pay the GM, right? So again, surface, it may seem like a little less, but when you really start lining it up, and these are things that we're going to help everybody with, but now you are running your business and you are fully committed to making it work. It's going to go better. It's going to ramp faster because you are running your business. You're probably going to enjoy your life a whole bunch, because we wouldn't have ever spoken about franchise ownership if you loved every aspect of your life, right? So it doesn't have to end up that way, but more times than not, the people that come to us and they start out thinking semi-absentee, they really learn what this is all about. Again, our whole goal at FranCoach, properly educate you on franchise ownership, to be able to learn that, geez, I don't really want this job. I don't need it. I can jump in full time into this business and make it work. Okay. That's how it's going to end up happening. So again, I just want to go back and again, semi-absentee ownership can work. It is scary. There's a lot of things you have to take into consideration. On the surface, people think it is less risky, but I'm telling you, it's more risky. You have to be able to commit multiple hours every single day to oversee your business, to communicate with your manager, and keep a pulse on what the heck is going on. Because if you won't, I guarantee you that manager won't. You've got to have the accessibility to be able to jump in or to respond when that manager or your business needs something, and the flexibility for when something hits the fan, you got the ability to jump in, right? If you don't have the discipline and a history of discipline to, this is the main thing I am doing, but I am always going to make sure I do X, Y, Z. If that's who you are, okay, maybe. If you have no history of that, and you know you do or you don't, so just be honest with yourself on that. If you don't become a semi-absentee owner. If you have limited flexibility in your life, or the desire to have it and the desire to add on another 15, 20 hours a week, this is not for you. And last, and I can never stress this enough, if somebody out there in the franchising world is telling you how easy it is, it's a piece of cake, it's easy, we're going to do everything for you, run away from that person or that group as fast as possible, because they are selling you a lie. Okay. So that's semi-absentee ownership. Again, yes, it can work, but you've got to be even more disciplined and more aware of who you are as a human being than if you jumped in full time. And as you start learning about this, the thought of being semi-absentee oftentimes changes to, oh, I can make this work financially, and I would rather run my business than keep my crappy job and hire somebody to run my business. So that is a little bit of an overview of semi-absentee ownership. Hope that helps, and that's it for today. Hey, thanks again for tuning into the Franchising 101 podcast, brought to you by FranCoach. I hope these episodes continue to educate you on the amazing possibilities that can be achieved through franchise ownership. In between podcast episodes, if you still want to learn more about franchising and the ways in which FranCoach can help, there are a few places for you to check out. First, tune in to the Franchising 360 show. It is the only nationally syndicated television show about franchising, hosted by me and Danielle Wright. Our TV show airs every Friday, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on Biz TV. Next, check out the FranCoach YouTube channel, which is FranCoach for you. You can find tons of franchise-specific content there. Plus, you can catch past episodes of the Franchising 360 show. If you like to read, we encourage you to check out our book, Becoming a Franchise Owner. You'll never guess what it's about. And finally, when you're ready to take that first personalized step and explore the franchise industry further, please reach out to our amazing team at FranCoach. You can click the QR code or find us at francoach.net. There is never any fee for our service, so let us help you create your better tomorrow.